lot of people have been asking how my health is doing, because I had a pretty major health event about a year ago that I was very open and shared a lot about that on this channel. And a lot of you have been asking about it, and I really appreciate that. So I want to just share how everything's going. I want to lead with it's going great. But a lot has happened, and I believe that this could help others. I know I'm not the only one going through this or have gone through this. And I think it's important to share on a spiritual level. I think it's important to share on a kind of a health level, that sort of thing. So I'm going to share it. I was very open back then. I'm just going to let you know how everything's going. Well, I want to start by saying what I was having was, I didn't realize it necessarily, but I was having a heart issue. I was constantly exhausted. My family, my wife, my kids, they said I looked sick. Even I remember my daughter's fiance came over, and he then went to my wife and said, I'm really worried about Mark. He does not look okay. And about 10 years before that, I got a heart scan, and it showed that I had a little something happening, so I needed to be careful. And I wasn't. 10 years later, I was sitting here having my family tell me this, so I went and got another heart scan. And it came back through like an online portal. Nobody called me. And it kind of shared what was happening. And I'm just going to blame myself in all this. I really didn't read it. I knew something was happening, but I just figured it got worse and I just needed to be healthier, that sort of thing. That's on me. I'll take that one. And in all fairness too, I was between doctors because it's hard to find a doctor lately. So it was a specialist that I was dealing with, and they were wonderful. For the record, all my people were wonderful. No part of this am I saying, oh, they should have done this or they were all absolutely wonderful. So I didn't really do anything about it for about a year, and it was finally my wife looked at it. She's like, oh my God, did you know this thing? I was like, well, I knew something. I just didn't know exactly what. And as it turned out was both of my arteries were blocked. The major arteries going to my heart, one 100% blocked, and the other one about 85% blocked. And one of them was the widowmaker artery. And the only reason I'm alive right now, I believe, is because what God did was he supernaturally made an additional artery after the event so I would live. Like there was another artery, like he circumvented, like he did a bypass. And therefore I was alive because God made a bypass without opening my chest. And I think it's important to share that. And since then, I've heard people say, oh, that's, we've heard of this before. Other people have had this. It's a miracle. Like just straight up, if that happened to you, you received a miracle too, even if it happened to millions of y'all. So nonetheless, I had to have some things done, and they recommended me for open heart surgery. And I've worked in hospitals. I've seen what that looks like. I'm horrified by it, to be quite honest. And when I went to go see the surgeon, as she was sharing, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then this terrible thing may happen, and then infections may happen, and then you might have to get more surgery. And the more she shared, it just kept getting worse and worse. I'm kind of overlapping what she shared because it was all blurry to me. Like I think I could probably write it down if I really thought about it, but openly sharing it. She said terrible stuff that I hated. All sounded horrifying. Every sentence that came out of her mouth was worse than the one before. And when she stopped, I just, I couldn't speak. Kind of like now, just take myself back there. I had to stop for a moment because I couldn't talk. Like she was like, do you have any questions? I'm like, So I don't even know what I even said in that moment. Like I couldn't even tell you, that all sounds awful. Probably something like that. And my wife was there, and she also works in a hospital system, and she currently, and she said, well, I've heard of this doctor. He's doing this procedure. Do you think he'd be a candidate for that? She said, well, maybe, let's try to get him in there, So I went in. They actually got me in like a day later. And I went in and he did. He said, I'm a great candidate for a procedure he's invented. If you're trying to avoid open heart surgery, check out some stuff going on at St. Luke's in Kansas City. That is good stuff, man. That guy, people are traveling from all over the world to get this procedure, and doctors are traveling from all over the world to learn this procedure. So when everybody else is saying, nope, open heart surgery only, he's able to somehow roto-rooter that stuff out, man, in a very delightful way compared to what they were offering at first. However, my insurance needed to approve it, and that was going to take like 90 days, which baffles me because I would think if I was the CEO of an insurance company and somebody was told, well, you might die, I would probably give them the surgery because obviously if I have a heart attack and I come in and, I'm going to be paying a lot more insurance companies. So just give the guy the procedure quicker. Nonetheless, this was the case. And I want to share this with you at this point. In the middle of all this, a friend of mine, he was going through a lot of things himself. He was overweight by a lot. And he was going through some depression. His brother just committed suicide. His wife's brother just committed suicide. Then another brother committed suicide. Like they just were going through hell. And everybody in their life that they loved seemed to just be so miserable that they were killing themselves. And he dropped 110 pounds in 7 months. And I asked him, because I don't know if you watched some of my older videos, I weighed a lot more. And I was like, hey, dude, how you do that? That's what I asked him. And he shared with me that he was eating Trinidad scorpion peppers, which I kind of said, well, I'm out on that. Like, I'll pick a different diet. So he made a drink for me and for other people that were asking him the same thing. And I started drinking that. And at the time, I share that story with you because right after they told me I had to wait for months, I think for the first time in my life, well, for sure the first time in my life, I felt like I had a bomb strapped around my neck. That could just go off. I'm here now, but maybe not, and I thought about my family and even my dog. I told my wife, make sure my dog knows, bring him to the funeral so he can smell me. Like I was going through some crazy stuff. I was in a dark place, really dark place. And I was reminded that I was in God's hands, like all of it. And I found great comfort in that. I found great safety in it. And confidence. And I knew in that moment, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm just going to be real honest. This is something I've shared often on videos, but there are some of us who will escape the sting of death. If you are standing here when Jesus Christ returns, you will not die. Ever. Ever. Literally. And I desire to be that guy. I desire it. And I tell people, people will say, every now and then they'll talk about dying this way or that way. And I just say, I'm never going to die. And they always go, well, good luck with that, of course. But that's my goal and I'm claiming it, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. That's all in his hands. And that's okay. And because his hands are better than my hands. And I felt great comfort in that even with a bomb strapped around my neck, figuratively and literally, there's comfort and safety and confidence in that. And even as I say it out loud, I think, well, that's kind of a strange statement to make, but it's accurate because it's God that's in charge of that thing, at least in my life, that I'm certain of. And I know that if you give him authority in your life, that same for you too. I mean, well, all of our lives are in his hands, but he loves all of his children. And some snub their nose at that. That's on them. Like, that's all on them. I'm just not going to be that guy either, you know? So, I guess through all this, like I changed, like some medication I didn't take, and that's kind of why I bring it up. You know, there was a lot of things that are addictive. I was like, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that. Like they gave me like 14 drugs. And a couple of them, to be honest, they were pretty enjoyable. I'm not doing that. Like I'm not doing that. So I turned back to my friend, you know, and I started doing natural things. Like I exercise like crazy. Like I'm at the gym in the last 90 days. I've been to the gym 87 days. And I'm working out really hard. And sometimes I go twice a day, or sometimes I'll go to the gym and I'll go walk around the neighborhood for 5-6 miles. And I'm just drinking Trinidad scorpion peppers and eating healthy. And this is a path, you know, I mean, some of the medications I am taking, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to, you know, but not that stuff, not the pharmacia, not that witchcraft stuff. I'm out on that. Bible speaks openly about that. When you see the word witchcraft, often it says pharmacia instead. And back to my friend, like he really believes that had he made this drink before his brother committed suicide, that he'd be alive today. Like it's something about those, like it's something about the capsaicins and hot peppers. And I'm not just saying that to say this is the miracle drink or anything like that. What I'm saying is that there's a channel, Johnny Schofield. Check him out. He's a hothead. He eats a lot of peppers, and I've connected with him. And he had severe addiction. He had all sorts of depressing, terrible, dark places he's been in his life. And he has climbed out of those holes by eating peppers and through prayer and just finding the natural things in the world, you know, like finding the things that God has created to help you, just balance you out. Because, and I share this with you because I'm a chemist. I don't know if you knew that about me. I studied biology and chemistry in college. And I taught biology and chemistry for decades at a high school level. And what I believe strongly is that there are times in your life where you are chemically imbalanced and it is not okay, and you are in a jacked up place because your chemicals are messed up. And I'm just going to give you an example. There was a time when I was really depressed one day. There was this girl, I loved her so much, and she broke up with me. And I was super depressed. And I was at work one day, and this guy I work with, he said, oh, here, you know, I'm always depressed. Take one of these, you know, you'll feel better. I was like, okay, and I took it. And about an hour later, I was not depressed anymore at all. And that seemed strange to me. Like I thought, well, I was really sad a second ago. What is this thing? And I kind of tested myself, the scientist in me. I kind of thought about really terribly sad things, but nothing, felt nothing. Like think of the worst thing that could happen, no emotions at all. And I realized in that moment that I want nothing to do with that. Like this is what makes me who I am. I need to go through this. Like I need to go through this hard thing so I can come out stronger on the other side. I can't just sit there and just numb it with painkillers and then be like, on to the next thing. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, that's what makes me who I am. Like, I'm who I am because of the hard stuff and because of the great stuff combined. And you are too. Like, I just knew in that moment, nothing to do with this pharmacia. Whether it's for my heart or my brain or my big toe, I don't care. I want nothing to do with that stuff. If it's gonna change me chemically in a way that I can't feel happy or sad or have empathy or any of that stuff, like, I'm out. I'm totally out on that stuff. So I share this all with you because I think that I've learned a lot over the last year. I've really learned a lot. You know, I trust God more, that's for sure. But in a different way. Like I trusted him before, but I trust him like literally he held it in his hands, like my little life. Like it was right there in the palm of his hands, and he could have just snuffed it, you know. But he didn't. He didn't. So a month ago, went in, got my year checkup, and I am doing great. I have no problems at all. My heart's doing great. All my arteries are wide open. But I'm balancing I'm balanced, and I don't mean to get all hippie on you. Sorry about that. But I'm talking about chemically, like I am a chemist. Like I get it. I was a biochemist. Like I totally get it. You can't just not sleep and eat a bunch of sugar and think you're just going to be happy for some reason. You know, there's things you could do, like you can exercise. You can eat more natural things.